Alright everyone, so today I'm going to be doing my top 10 records of this year so far. The reason my mic is like in the shot is because this room is super echoey and I was using a mic above my camera there, but it wasn't loud enough. So I got this mic and yeah, it's in shot, but soz, I guess. Loads of people have been messaging me and asking me to do the Vane review, which I am going to be doing super soon. I'm going to be doing it with Mike Seatown. I was supposed to upload on Sunday, but I'm uploading today instead. Not that anyone cares because no one watches these videos. Today we're going to be doing my top 10 records of this year so far. There's been so many releases and it's really hard to keep up. I don't know, my music taste has just changed so much in the last, I don't know, like year or so. I don't really listen to too much like Power Violence or whatever anymore, but I guess you're going to find that out in this video, aren't you, mate? So the first album on my list is by JPEG Mafia. This is a rapper from Baltimore. I didn't really hear about this matey until I saw it on like the Needle Drop and some other channels as well. I'm not sure if Dead End Hip Hop did it. I can't remember, but I definitely saw it on Needle Drop and a few other channels as well. I saw it on Spotify recommended, all over the place. If you are into death grips, specifically ex-military, you are gonna love Veteran by JPEG Mafia. This album is just everything that I love about death grips put into a new project and mixed up and mashed up into something new. So when I listen to this album the whole way through, it definitely like brings me back into that death grips mindset, but this is something new. So it's throwing like new flows in there. It's got some new weird like samples and new ways of developing beats. Obviously there's no like drummer in there. You haven't got the Zach Hills and stuff like that. I know I'm making a huge comparison to Death Grips, but trust me, if you haven't listened to this, go and listen to it, especially if you love Death Grips. It's a super good album. I'm really into it and that's why it's number 1 on this list. So the next one on this list is Sophie. Oil of Every Pearl's Uninsides. I'm having to read that from my laptop because I was no way I was going to remember that. Sophie is a singer and producer from Scotland. It's a very strange project. Again, very much in the way of beats and not so much hip hop, but it definitely has a lot of elements that you would find within that distorted scene of Death Grips, clipping and JPEG Mafia, that sort of thing. It's very well produced, super distorted, and it's just weird as hell. I think the person that put me onto this was actually my best mate, Nick. I did see it on the front of someone's magazine. I can't remember what it was. It was at work or something. Someone had a magazine that had Sophie in like huge print, but I didn't bother listening to the album then until my mate sent it to me on WhatsApp, clicked on the link, and it was Pony Boy, which is on this album as well, which is a single from the Sophie's album. Insane. Absolutely crazy. It's just this beat that just keeps on developing and keeps on getting more and more harsh. And when you think it just couldn't get any heavier or more distorted, it just goes on and on and just builds and builds. Sophie is like one of those artists that I never really would have found out about if it wasn't for mates. You know, I don't go digging for these people really anymore. I go to record shops and stuff, but I definitely would have never found out about Sophie unless my best mate Nick sent it to me. So cheers, mate. So next on the list is Kids See Ghost, and a lot of people already know this, obviously. I mean, it's like super oversaturated. It's one of those albums that just gets thrown around the internet non-stop until about 2 weeks after the album has come out, and then it just dies down. This album, I can't see it being pushed out by any other album from my top 10 for the whole year. A lot of people are like super neggy about it and just throwing it around like it's just trash, but I think Kanye West is at his best on this album, way better than Ye. Kanye West seems like he's flowing a lot more on this. His lyrical content is way better. And Kid Cudi, like his hums and his singing, his rapping are just flawless on this album. Obviously way better than some of his previous releases. And when they come together and when they throw these like psychedelic themes in there, tracks like Free and Reborn are just some of my favorite tracks of the whole year. Even when Kanye West comes in on the first track and does that weird like thing that reminds me of Man's Not Hot, by the way. I don't know if any of you noticed that. Even though it's funny and like you can make that comparison to Man's Not Hot, it's still amazing and it's still weird and it's just 100% Kanye West. And that's what I love about it. I want to hear the weird stuff. I want to hear him going absolutely nuts and just doing the weirdest, stupidest lines. That's what I want. So this album is awesome and it's definitely not going to leave my list for the whole year. So the next album on my list is by ZHU. It's called Ringo's Desert. I'm not sure if you pronounce it Zoo or ZHU. Hasn't got any dots in between it. Every single Friday I go onto Spotify new releases and I go onto albums or I go onto Tidal, whatever. I found ZHU on both of those platforms and I was just skipping through all the albums, you know what I mean? Just like listening to the new releases, see if there's anything decent on there. Every single album that week was complete trash. Like there was nothing good there. It was all absolute toilet. Apart from this one album, ZHU Ringo's Desert. Yeah, so ZHU is a pretty decent project. I mean, there's a lot of people at work that are putting me onto a lot of different music, and I feel like ZHU is one of those projects that I will definitely keep on listening to throughout the year. Not sure if it's going to stay in my top 10 list for the whole year, but right now it's definitely there. Next up on the list is Immortal, Northern Chaos Gods. And this is an album that obviously hasn't been out for a long time. It's just come out last Friday, I think it was. But I knew it was coming because I saw loads of Nuclear Blast posts on YouTube. Loads of little like tracks that were popping up here and there all over the internet. So for anyone that doesn't know Immortal, they were a three-piece, and their singer Abaf that started Immortal left the band or was kicked out. I don't know, there was some absolute drama and stress going on there. But he got kicked out or left or whatever. He started his own band called Abaf. That was a pretty decent album. I mean, I was into it anyway, a bit more like battle metal. So as soon as Abaf left the band Immortal, I remember the two members that were left from Immortal posting and saying like there was loads of stress and whatever about them keeping the name and that he was going to sue them. I don't know. There was like just absolute drama all over the place. I think the matey that played bass on Northern Chaos Gods was the bassist from Hypocrisy. I remember reading that somewhere. The vocals on this album are insane. They really don't need a Abaf for this band, and I think they can carry on for years to come. This album is absolutely clean. Like, you could just hear the blast, super well recorded, and it's just a classic Immortal album, something that I can listen to, amazing riffs. They just don't need a bath, mate. Go and have a bath. So next album up on my list is Poya. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm still not sure. I haven't heard anyone say it in any interviews or anything. So I've been listening to this album non-stop. Like, this is one of those hip hop albums that has been on my phone, downloaded on Spotify for bike rides on the way to work, on the bus, on the underground, just generally playing on the speaker when I'm outside. So it's heavily influenced by Bone Thugs in Harmony. It's got the same sort of triplet flow going in there. It's definitely got a lot of trap influence, and it's kind of trashy in places, but songs like Void on there, which is my favorite track from the album, it definitely has like this really heavy Kendrick influence where there's a lot of singing, and even the cadence of his voice is definitely a lot like Kendrick Lamar's. Void is 100% my favorite track from this album. 5-5 in general is one of those albums that just stuck, and it's super catchy. It's like an earworm, you know what I mean? Like, even though it may be trashy in places and it may like slip, or even though it may slip in places and it may be a little bit trashy, I think like 5-5 by Poya is one of those albums that will not leave your brain. It's super catchy, and every single flow and these like Bone Thugs in Harmony triplets, it just won't leave your brain. Trust me, listen to it. Super, super catchy. Next album up on my list is Death Grip's Year of the Snitch. So I didn't really get into this album until I think it was 4 days ago. I saw it online, and I obviously, like, Death Grips are well renowned for just releasing their albums on YouTube, like every single track, or just leaving it for download on the internet somewhere. I remember thinking with Bottomless Pit that Death Grips were really pushing the boundaries of what they were going to do and how they were going to move forward with their music. There's just these insane like gabber and blast beats and screaming and overlaid vocals, and I was wondering what they were going to do for their new album. But Year of the Snitch is even stranger. I remember the first song that I heard from Year of the Snitch was Black Paint, and that's got this weird like psychedelic trippy soundtrack in the background. Really weird, just with a still image on YouTube and the track playing in the background. Very, very Death Grips, super mysterious and weird as hell. This album is just one of those I could put on, really heavily influenced by noise, psychedelic, and a lot more drums in there, which I really love because I can't get enough of Zach Hill. Like, Zach Hill is one of the best drummers ever. I don't know if you lot know Berkheim, but it's this huge place in Berlin where it's like one of the best clubs ever or whatever, but I don't really go that much. Only went there to see Sleep and Death Grips. I've seen Death Grips there twice now. Insane, like the hottest day of the year, and everyone was passing out, and I remember just them coming onto stage, not saying a word, pitch black, just starting their set, playing it all the way through, and most of the tracks were from Bottomless Pit. Loads of people passing out and smashing their faces on the floor, like non-stop mosh pits. So Death Grips have definitely been with me for, I don't even know how many years it's been now, but ever since I saw Ex-Military mixtape released on some blog or something online. I don't know if you lot are going to believe me, but I was in a band called Witch Cult, and we played with Death Grips in a tiny, tiny pub in London. Maybe I should save that for another video. Are you lot interested in hearing about that? Next up on my list is Andrew WK, You're Not Alone. And this is an album that is just weird as hell. And I know you're probably laughing behind your screen right now, but one of those albums that have really helped me through a lot of tough times, as his old albums have as well. A lot of people see him as like some sort of weird joke or a meme or whatever, but Andrew WK has come out with some of the best music for this year. Everything is so solid, so heavy, so clean, so massive and so huge lyrically. This album just can't be ignored. Everything he's done on this album with all the spoken word and how serious he is and everything he's lent to mental illness and the way he's helped out people is just, like I said, it just can't be ignored. And this album is absolutely flawless. I can't tell you how much I love this album. I'm super, super into Andrew WK, always will be. And this album is pretty solid. So the next album on my list is by The Weeknd. It's called My Dear Melancholy. So I have been into The Weeknd in the past and I did really like Starboy. Was it Starboy? Starboy, right? Yeah. I did really like Starboy. I thought that was pretty decent. I had a lot of tracks on there that was super clean and really, really catchy. But My Dear Melancholy is way better. Like 100 times better than any other album he's done before. Super, super catchy, but a lot darker. I feel like he's going into this really old school 90s R&B feeling on this album. Really, really good drums. Awesome production on this. And I can't get enough of this album, particularly Call Out My Name. It's really, really incredible. So the next album on my list actually came out in 2017. This is Thundercat Drunk, but this is the remix. It's called Thundercat Drank, and this is by DJ Slopped Up. It's a chopped and screwed album. It's that album right there on the wall, that one there. DJ Slopped Up, I think, has done some other stuff in the past, but I first heard about it through this album. I can't remember where I saw it. I think I saw it at a record store, and I was really confused about why it had a purple cover. I think it came out on Record Store Day.
Might be mistaken.
So this album is a remix of the original by Thundercat. Thundercat's original is kind of funky, got some Prince vibes in there, really weird, sort of jazzy, funky thing going on there. I don't know, but it was very hyped up when the original came out. When this came out, I guess it was more like a cult hit. A lot of people knew about it and a lot of people wanted to buy it, and it was very popular because of Record Store Day or whenever it came out. But the reason I bought it is because I listened to it on YouTube and I was just blown away about how good a remix can be. It's completely changed the album, slowed it down, taken the tone down super, super low, mixed it in there with these super drunk vibes, like someone's been sipping on lean for 4 days and then recorded an album. Yeah, I can't get enough of it. It's amazing, mate. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see me talk about that Death Grips story where I played with them in a little band for free, comment below if you want to listen to that. I am going to be releasing a couple more videos in the future. Obviously, I'm going to be doing Wednesdays and Sundays. I'm going to be trying to upload on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 12, so noon. But that's obviously German time. If you do want to come back and watch videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, I will be here. I'm going to try my best to keep up with the schedule. Obviously, I do have a full-time job and stuff, so it is kind of hard to record on my days off and not do other stuff. These videos are kind of hard to edit in that, but I'm trying to keep on top of it. So thank you so much for your awesome comments. Thank you so much for always being there for me, and I'll see you next time, I guess. Cheers. Oh yeah, press there's a little button down there. It looks like that. Press that. There's a little one that says subscribe in it. Press that. Link this video to all your mates and press the bell and press always. All right, see you in a bit, mate. Bye. Ta-da.
I can't understand your thoughts when you talk.